The illusion of freedom. How the world is run by a financial cabal that owns everything, including you. In the modern world, power no longer wears a crown or a general's uniform. It wears a hoodie, a lab coat, or a tech startup's brand. Figures like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and even the now-disgraced Jeffrey Epstein are presented as geniuses, innovators, and self-made visionaries. But the uncomfortable truth is this. These so-called billionaires are not the rulers, they are the actors. They were selected, not for their intelligence, but for their obedience, their charisma, and most importantly, their willingness to serve the global financial elite, a cabal that runs the show from behind the curtain. Billionaires, the illusion of wealth and autonomy. Public admiration for these figures is based on a carefully manufactured illusion. Their wealth, often measured in stock valuations, is mostly paper money. The real ownership and control of their companies lie in the hands of the financial institutions, namely BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. These three firms are the silent owners of over 90% of Wall Street, with controlling stakes in virtually every Fortune 500 company. Look into Tesla, Amazon, Meta, Google, or even Pfizer, and you'll find the same pattern. The same institutions appear repeatedly as the dominant shareholders. But this is where it gets darker. These firms own each other, creating an incestuous loop of power where accountability disappears. Their real headquarters are not in New York, but in the City of London, an ancient financial district that operates outside UK law, owned and dominated by the Rothschild dynasty, in cooperation with the Rockefeller family, the barons of oil and finance. At the top of the pyramid is not democracy or free enterprise. It is hereditary, institutionalized control. Seigniorage, the legalized scam of money creation. How did this cartel become so powerful? Through a little-known concept called seigniorage, the right to create money from thin air. Central banks like the Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, and Bank of England are portrayed as public institutions, but in reality, they are privately controlled entities with deep connections to the same elite families. When governments borrow money, it's not from their own treasuries. It's from these banks, who create the money digitally, with no labor, production, or backing. In return, taxpayers are shackled with interest-bearing debt, paying forever for currency that never should have cost a cent. This system has allowed the banking elite to extract trillions from humanity, while offering nothing in return but inflation, austerity, and financial slavery. This is the root of all modern economic injustice, a parasitic monetary system designed to privatize profit and socialize debt, perpetually enriching the invisible hand while the working class pays the bill. Wall Street, a rigged casino. Wall Street, far from being the engine of innovation, is simply the front office of a giant Ponzi scheme. Banks like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Lehman Brothers, before its controlled collapse, and others, operate not as competitors, but as branches of the same financial octopus. They manipulate markets, crash economies on schedule, and use public bailouts to consolidate power. 2008 was not a failure of capitalism. It was a planned demolition, executed by those who profited both before and after the collapse. Lehman was the sacrificial lamb, while Goldman and BlackRock expanded their influence. And who orchestrated the rescue packages? The Federal Reserve, using freshly created money, not to help citizens, but to save the very entities that caused the collapse. This is the nature of the game. Crisis, consolidation, control, repeat. The green lie, climate as a new tool of control. As public anger toward big oil and financial monopolies grows, the same families pivoted to a new narrative, green energy. On the surface, it sounds noble. In practice, it's just another scam. The same billionaires who own the oil reserves also own the wind farms, lithium mines, and solar patents. The carbon tax, far from being an environmental tool, is a financial instrument, used to create new markets of profit and control, all under the guise of saving the planet. The climate agenda, as it is currently weaponized, has little to do with nature and everything to do with data harvesting, behavioral control, and wealth redistribution upward. The real polluters, megacorporations, and the military-industrial complex, remain untouched, while small businesses and individuals are crushed under new green regulations and taxes. It is not about saving the earth. It is about building a new system of control under a moral disguise. Conclusion: the empire behind the curtain. What connects the illusion of billionaire success, the perpetual debt machine, the rigged financial system, and the greenwashing of the global economy is simple: ownership. A handful of families, through interlinked institutions, control nearly everything, from central banks and energy grids to the narrative itself. They create the money, own the companies, select the politicians, and manufacture the crises. The rest of us? We are participants in a theater, believing in freedom, cheering for false heroes, and paying for a system designed to keep us docile and divided. We are not free. We are indentured servants in a digital feudal system, where the landlords wear tailored suits and control the code of our economy. It's time to name the owners, expose the structure, and reclaim the power that was stolen from the people generations ago.